All right, we are back. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed their break and refueled with some lunch, relaxed a little bit. We're going to go strong here on the close. We have echo. It's probably my fault. Hang on a second. All right, we're good. I'm going to bring in the order flow guys in a second. We have a new order flow guy. They just keep coming. It's going to be awesome. But before I introduce them, let's go ahead and do a really quick edge report and just check out the markets real quickly, and then we'll get right back to these guys. So checking out the E-mini S&P. We have an interesting setup coming up right now. Actually, we have we had a double top up here at the high of the day, 57.60 almost, give or take. That's my range, my rectangle up there, and then we had a wild ride, man. It's just like London Bridge formation, low, sideways, high, and then nonstop sell-off after the initial balance was over. Now we're right at that Jax 1 level. Remember, triple witching tomorrow, so these Jax numbers are going to be really important. They're gamma levels. The lower the Jax number, the more important it is. But we're selling off through it right now, and we have an area of support, double bottom even, that we saw earlier today, and that's approximately 66.90. Now, where it gets interesting is the edge full statistic of initial balance breakout. Now, we haven't had initial balance breakout based on a body of a candle closing. We have the initial top of the initial balance, that first 60 minutes of trading, and then we have the bottom of the initial balance. That's that white line at the bottom. And we have the statistic is this. We did a 3-month look back, and we said, hey, 80% of the time we have a single break of the opening of the initial balance. And we haven't had that yet. Yeah, we wicked through it, but we didn't have a candle close through it. So now we're approaching the bottom. 80% chance. And it's not an 80% chance, but 80% of the time looking back 3 months, that's what's happened. That's the statistic. We have a 13.3% chance of a double break, which seems extremely unlikely, and then a 6.67% chance of no break, meaning if we don't have a candle that closes below the 56.84 level, 60 well, this is 56.84 and a half to be exact. Then we're going to get that 66.667 outlier stat. But right now it's looking negative. It's looking like it's trended down. In the odds are suggesting single break on the downside at this point. That's the E-mini S&P. Real quickly here, let's just look at the 10-year notes as well, just to get a gauge of the interest rates. In the 10-year notes, are telling a similar story, but not. We don't have that London Bridge formation. We just have this really nice, this inverted V formation up to the opening range. R2 held pretty good, within a couple of ticks of area resistance. We drove back down. We have a really wonky volume profile I have my volume profile anchored from the start of the session last night, and the point of control now is officially at 111 spot '05. I don't expect this to change much between now and the close. So that's the edge report for today. I'll take a look at some other markets tomorrow. In the meantime, I want to bring in a couple of super cool cats that are here with us today to trade the close. The order flow edge guys. Here we are. Here we
Hey,
are. We have
Jim.
Stowe's coming back for the second time. I thought maybe, I don't know, after the first time, maybe he's not coming back, but he decided to come back. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, I survived. It was a miracle.
Oh, you were awesome, man. No question. Now we have the new guy. I know it's not a new guy to you, but I just met Elias. Elias, how you doing, man?
Doing good, Jim. How are you?
Pretty good. Orlando, Florida, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Sunny
Love it.
Orlando.
Love it. That's fantastic. How long have you been with this crew?
Oh, about 4 years-ish, 3, 4 years with
Okay,
OrderFlow
so
Labs.
how long has OrderFlow has been around, actually? I don't even know
I,
this.
I think 4 or 5 years. Did they start in
Yeah,
2001?
yeah, about 4 years, I think.
Yep, 4 years.
Oh, all right. So you were in from the start, Elias.
Almost from the very beginning. Yeah.
And what were you doing before? I mean, how'd you get into this, I should say?
Well, I got into options trading, I guess, in February of 21 when my son was born, and about September 21, I started trading futures, and I started with micro NQ. That's my product of choice. And I guess shortly thereafter, November, December, January of the following year, I think I joined up with OrderFlow Labs. You know, you know how it is. You start trading futures, you win some, you lose some, then you lose a lot. At least that was my experience. And I realized that I really it wasn't as easy as I first thought, and I needed some real education and tools and stuff to help me because I really enjoy trading. I like markets. I have an IT background, so I'm kind of like technical kind of guy. So when I found OrderFlow Labs, just their style and professionalism and the tools and education kind of suited me, and just been with them ever since, and it's really helped me a lot.
Yeah, you get that like dopamine rush, right? It's like you're looking, you see a setup, you execute it, you're watching it go. Hopefully it ends out well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, that's awesome. So, for those of you who are tuning in new, these guys are with OrderFlow Labs. They're gonna be trading the close live today, and walking us through every step of the way. And by the way, they are volume profile aficionados, and that is music to my ears because I've been using volume profile for years now. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, probably.
Whose charts? What?
Yep. I think you're going on my chart. I actually put a trade on too, so we'll see
Oh,
what
let's get to it
happens.
then. Let's get to it then. All right, you guys. You guys do all the heavy lifting, man. I'm going to sit back and watch.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks,
All
Jim.
right.
You
Yeah,
got
we
long
were.
those 805 still?
Yeah, I wish I got the 805 fill. Sure, that would have been nice. But I saw that bid coming in, so I just slapped it. See if the buyers can get out of this.
Nice. Yeah. Now the buying's starting to come in there. Looks
Yeah,
like we got a lot of trap delta down at right around 800. Where
pretty
are you
cool.
looking to get out?
So what I'm gonna do is this is also a Leo setup too. This is the 5 minute opening range that Leo talks about a lot. This gray box here, and then this green line here is the midpoint of that opening range. And there's lots about his setup online. You can read about it if you want to. Basically, what you're looking for is for price to have spent a majority of the time above or below that, and then come back into it, retest it, and then you're going to look for either responsive buying or responsive selling when you're, depending on which direction you're trying to trade it in. This obviously the day has spent the whole day above it, not coming back for much at all. So they were really pressing into those lows. We were watching on the tape before we got on the stream, and yeah, they were shoving everybody around down there, and they didn't get anywhere. So now that we're back above it, I figure I'd take a shot. We got 2 lots off, so it pays for the trade. And next, I'll take one at 848, and then I'm also going to take one at the top of this standard deviation VWAP band that we're in right now. So
Nice.
that's my plan. We'll see what happens. I'm coming for redemption today, Elias. Tuesday was a bit of a bloodbath roll stow.
I hear you, man. I'm a little wary of that 840, 850 area though.
Yeah, yep. We're coming up against that.
We have some resistance there.
Yep. We'll see. We will see.
Do you typically, Stowe, hold your take profits regardless? And if they don't hit and you get stopped out,
Yeah, unless something weird happens. Something I'm doing in this market specifically, I went through a pretty big drawdown in January and a lot of February too. And I really had to change the way that I was executing just because the environment changed on me so fast. So what I really got back to was the basics of, what win rate do I need to be successful, and what profit factor do I need to be successful. And I just built that into a bracket so that if this entire bracket hits, I'm getting a 1.45 profit factor on the trade, and my target is 1.3 profit factor total. So that's That's what I'm shooting for. With a 55% win rate, that's a winning strategy over time. So I just try to take that guesswork out of this when I'm getting into the trade.
Dude, having your statistics like that, your trading statistics, so important, man. So important.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're your own best data bank for all of that. Like, there's a lot of edge in just knowing how you trade in general, and your own personal style, what your weaknesses are, what you're really good at, and then leaning into those. And you discover that with stats for sure.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking about, what am I going to talk about on the stream and whatever, and I was thinking about trading the close, right? I don't typically trade after about 11:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because, over time, over the three-year stats or so, it's my least profitable. Well, it's my second least profitable time of the day is 2:30 to the close. My most profitable is 9:30 to 11:30.
Yep.
The worst time for me to trade is 12 to 2. That's negative expectancy right there. So I cut that out completely. But the end of the day is, it's second best. It's hit or miss. So I decided to cut it out. And very rarely I'll trade it some. So this is going to be interesting for me. I haven't had a lot of experience trading the last hour or so.
Yeah.
In a while.
No, same. And it's a cool challenge because you kind of have to come up with different setups in an environment that you're not super familiar with.
Sure.
So the other thing I did here is I put an anchored VWAP on on that candle low at 795. This is kind of how I can tell if that was going to be a good low or if that's going to continue, is if this anchored VWAP holds and has a good slope, which it doesn't. So that might have been a one and done. I can also decide to get back in. Sometimes I'll add on another lot if I feel like the trade has a good chance of continuation. So, but this is all A+ setup stuff for me. I mean, it's Leo's mid trade. This is the Job pivot, which is feared and hated by all OrderFlow Labs traders that are trading against it and loved by those trading with it. That thing can be a brick wall sometimes. So, yeah. Well, Elias, tell me about. Sorry, I got into a trade right away. We didn't do our recap stuff.
That's what we're here for. I mean, when we see it, we got to hit it, right?
Yep. But tell me about your day. Tell me about some setups you took today.
Well, I was fortunate. I got to participate in a good amount of the upside move early on. I was trying pre-market to get long, and I took a couple of small stop outs, and then shortly after the bell, I got in, and I held for a good port. I think my runner, which was a one lot runner, got off just over 100 points, so I was real happy about that. And then
that's amazing. That's a perfect day.
Yeah. Then I took a break. This environment has been it's very indecisive. So I saw the setup to get long. I saw a reason to get in. I was looking for okay, maybe can we sweep the overnight high? I didn't hold the whole way. But there's, with all the indecision in the market lately, we're trying to break out of this balance. Doesn't seem like we're getting too far each time. We had the FOMC highs overnight, didn't break them. So I was hesitant to push to continue long.
Yeah.
And then when we started nearing the overnight high, I started looking for shorts. I took a little bit of hits there, and finally it was able to catch the short after we swept it. And interestingly, so we swept the overnight high, but we couldn't take out the FOMC high. So that gave me some confidence on the short side, and I ended up having a really, really decent day.
That's awesome. You're big on those news pivots. That's a thing that you talk about all the time with me. Do you want to talk about that? That's some good alpha
Yeah,
for sure.
you know what, FOMC, I don't really mark those anymore. I used to. I'm more uh focused on CPI. So what I'll do is, on CPI release days, I mark the high and the low of that day. And, I labeled it on my chart what month it is. And I watch those levels because I've seen over time, over the 2 years or so that I've been kind of keeping an eye on those levels tend to be very responsive and kind of like a value area. If we accept back in, we tend to rotate down to the other side.
Interesting.
So I like having those points of reference.
No, that's great. You
Like right now, the March CPI high is 19,780, and we're coming out into that kind of right now. And I
yeah,
see this like 780, 740 as a pretty important hold area for the buyers. If we start getting acceptance back below 740, I could see potential for a rotation down to the bottom of the balance.
yep. No, for sure. This feels like an important spot right here. There's still got like, yeah, that 786, the open test can still happen. So I'm not married to this being that great of a trade yet. Also the 30-second opening range down there. That's a
Yeah.
big thing that I know Pax talks about all the time. I use that too.
IB low,
I'd be low. There's tons of
overnight
stuff
low,
it could
just
still
under
go
it. We
both.
didn't break.
Yeah, it's just these sellers aren't getting anywhere. They're getting
We had,
stuffed, so I had to get back in. I put another lot on there too at 814, I think was my fill. I got to turn my fills on this chart since I updated it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good trade. I like that consolidation low just under the mid, the 5-minute mid.
We'll see. The MMs are coming for me in the chat. I hear it. I hear it already.
They're watching you.
Yeah, let's take a look at the chat. So how'd you folks do? Does anybody have a good trade they want to share? Does anybody have a really bad trade they want to share? Maybe both. Oh, this is a question for you, Elias. Do you take the high and low of the full session or just the RTH? Or how are you marking those CPI highs and lows?
From the time of the release, so 8:30 Eastern to the end of RTH, whatever the high and low gets put in during that time frame, that's what I mark.
Interesting. So it's like it's its own unique time frame because that is a specific news day.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and when I was marking FOMC, it was similar. I would mark the high and the low from the release, so from 2 p.m. Eastern to the close,
Oh,
not
okay.
from the beginning of the day.
Yeah, so you're just looking for that specific news candle.
Basically, yeah, through the end of the day.
Sure. Nobody's got any good trades yet. I have coffee in this cup. XY. Don't worry about what I got in this cup, okay?
Am I out of coffee? No. No, those 840, that 840 area is holding up as resistance here.
I know. Don't I know it? Yeah, that view up got smoked too, so that's not looking good either. And then there's this. So there's lots of ways you can use the anchored view up. We mess with it all the time. But when we're looking at these, micro rotations, putting a view up at the high and low just gives you, some sort of context for just the middle of that move. Basically, it's like you just create a mid. Maybe I'll cheat and pull that down in a second. I got an 814, so that I need. Yep.
you go.
Sometimes they're very responsive. There's some bid. Come on, bid. Let's go. Now they're coming in. Is Job in this chat right now? Thanks for the pivot, Job.
Be interesting to see if they could take it up, tag POC maybe a little bit higher, and then come back and retest those 840s for a rebid.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let this runner go. I'm gonna watch for response here at this 860 spot, this top of this band.
Mhm.
But this is the way that I trade and try to keep rules is if I'm in the lower standard deviation band off of RTH VWAP, I try to remain extremely conscious of the fact that I am in a counter trade right now. So either we're playing for low day and this thing can run back to, I don't know, RTH VWAP or anywhere, or I need to be ready to admit that I'm trading counter trend right now. So
Gotcha. You prefer RTH VWAP to the 24-hour?
For NQ, I do, yes. Actually, today, though, is an exception to that. I don't have a way, I don't have a non-vibes way to explain this, but if there has been a large overnight move, like I think NQ liquidated like 300 points starting at 5 a.m. or something like that.
Right.
Then the 24 hours seems to be more responsive. I've always wanted to dig into that and figure that out a little more. Like maybe I can assign, a volume threshold to Globex. And if Globex volume threshold is X or Globex range is X, then the 24-hour VWAP bands are going to be more useful that day.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just some VWAP nerdery that I think about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's see. New high a day. I mean, that would be pretty sick. Yeah.
Would be. I would really like from the buyer's perspective to see a weekly close up about 280, 2280. That would be super bullish for the week,
Yeah, that'd be
in
awesome.
my opinion.
All right, cool. So we cleared that 863. So I'm
Nice.
definitely feeling better. Apteros is asking me what's up with my wiggling most current bar there. I don't know what you mean, bud. Just the developing bar? I like 750 volume. We all have our own different volume candle that we're comfortable with. Elias, are you on 752?
When I'm charting NQ, I chart 200 volume candles currently. But it's been better for me to chart MNQ. So I'm doing 750 volume on MNQ. There's a difference. All my settings have to be a little bit higher than what I'm used to for NQ for the micro product,
Yeah, that's fair. I think I know Leo is experimenting with a lot lower volume settings, and he really likes it. But then I've tried those, and they're not for me. So it's just trial and error. Whatever you get most comfortable with.
I like 200 volume for RTH and 100 volume for Globex, but I scrunch up my charts. Typically I use open, high, low, close bars, and I scrunch everything up. I have everything really compressed. It's funny because I'm trading now with a kind of a more zoomed in chart for the stream. So I'm just practicing that in my regular trading.
Yep.
And the space, I think Merritt was on stream a couple days ago and he was talking about the chart scales. And the scale is so much bigger now that I'm using for the stream than what I'm used to. I'm like, man, that 15 points is a lot.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, that's a lot of money. It's kind of scared me, because I'm used to like everything I look at is the same scale. And I think that's, he had a good point there.
Yep.
That.
Well, this was, I don't know. I scrunched up a little bit. I hope everybody can see it. I'll go back to a super zoomed in look, but I just wanted to go back to this. This is around 12:30 where they put the POC in. Tons of buying, nobody getting anywhere, and then they finally broke this 873. So like I'm down to catch rotations all the way back up to wherever it wants to go now. So we'll just let this runner cook.
It's a nice trade, man.
Thank you, buddy. Oh, thanks, Leo. Yeah, 750 is better because we can front run Merritt on his 1,000 volume bars. It's always important to have your volume bars slightly at an edge of your friends that you're trading with.
I'm going down to 1 volume. Front run everybody.
Just lock in 1 volume candle bar trading.
See. Block almost.
I wonder. So, did anybody share any trades that they had today?
Why volume over ticks?
Why volume over ticks?
I think.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, we look at volume profile, we look at delta, we look at what we call liquidity zones, and all that stuff. Liquidity zones are based on delta at price. All that stuff is based on volume. And for me personally, it just helps me using volume candles. It's like an alignment of structure across all the different tools I use.
Yep,
I don't
that makes
really
sense.
use anything time based except the opening range. So the volume bars kind of just line everything up cleaner for me. I don't know what about you, Sto?
I use volume instead of ticks because a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me have determined that is a better thing to use with the tools that we're up to. And often what I'll do with that is I surround myself with people who are really smart, and I just go ahead and take their word for it and try stuff myself. So yeah, like what Elias said, that's why I do it.
Well, and also too, some of the tools that we use are specifically designed to be used with volume candles.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, like Delta Map, that needs a volume candle. Yeah. Yep.
Well, you can configure Delta Map to use the volume candle, and you can use it on any chart, really, technically, but it will look better if you're using it on the same time frame. You follow?
Gotcha. Yeah. No,
I think I may have lost some people there. In NinjaTrader, when you set up indicators, some of them you can specify the time frame that the indicator is using that's independent of your chart time frame. So for Delta Map, I can set it to use volume candles and overlay it onto a time-based chart.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
But it
I
won't
see.
line up bar for bar because
Yeah.
the bars won't line up.
Which config do you use for NQ, and do you have config for ES? Yeah, they have an ES book for sure. And we're on 750 vol for. We should pin that somewhere. These are 750 vol candles. No higher high, bud. No higher high. We could not take this 900 guy out.
Still a great trade, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm stoked with that every time. Especially getting the ad off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no complaints. And then if this gets stopped out, I'm going to keep it going. Look for something in that 30-second opening range spot. Retest the RTH open, which hasn't happened yet. I don't think, since it mooned out of there this morning.
I fired off one there.
Did you get into?
Yeah, I got in just above pivot. I took one off at 840. And I am going to set the other one for IB mid.
Beautiful.
I think 920-ish is a good
I love
target.
mids. Mids are the best.
I don't, can we,
You want to switch to your screen?
can we? I mean, is that,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
all right? I didn't want to like interrupt your flow.
Yep.
Yes. Let me
Yep,
find
go ahead,
that
share
real
your
quick.
screen, and then they'll just switch you over. Yeah, I want to see your trade.
See my screen okay?
There you go. Nice. Nice trade, homie. There you go.
So if we can get over these little aggressive sellers there,
Yep.
we may have an opportunity to
There's Job.
potentially add.
Yeah. Job must have heard that his Job's pivot radar must have been going off.
We need Leo to join voice. Little inside joke there. See if we can push this thing over 900.
Yeah, this 860. It's being a turkey. But Joe, please move my pivot. Yeah, exactly. That's what happens with the pivot. Everybody's begging for it to go away. I'm. How many people are on the other side of my trade right now? Who's short? Show yourselves.
I just added one on that pullback. I really want to see this 840 hold.
Brian's long. Savage is long. Norseman is short 880s. Classic. I mean, the other rationale for this this long is just like, look at that volume profile. I mean, we're just in a distribution, and I think I said Tuesday, like I try to stay on. I try to stay with the daily trend when I'm trying to enter. So longs off the bottom of this current distribution that we're in is in line with that ethos. So that's also why I felt good in there.
If we can't pop through this negative delta right here, pretty soon I'm just gonna cut the trade. Sellers
I'm going to hold
wanna
this trade
defend
forever.
that.
I'm going to will this trade to
See you
my
next
kid.
week.
I'm going to take delivery on this micro lot and put it in a safe deposit box.
Actually, just gonna move this up here and
Elias, do you keep a shorter leash on ads? Brian is asking.
do I keep a shorter leash on ads? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I did move my stop up. typically I don't even do this. I would have gotten off the one at the ad at the POC
Hmm.
and just cut the remaining position if I needed to. I'm not a especially in an environment like this, like end of day, it's a lot of kind of choppy back and forth. I like fast moves. That's why I trade NQ. Typically I like to get the bulk of my position off really quick and I'll hold one. But I'm trying to, trying to do things a little bit different for the stream. You don't want to see my in and out 10-second trades.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. I kind of ads are tricky for me
They are.
mentally because it's like, do you treat it as a second trade? I mean, my ad was a little different. I was able to add at the exact retest of my entry, so that just averaged in very easily. And then I just
I'm
took
gonna
that
take
scalp.
this off here.
There you go.
They've been doing this to me all day where they'll come 2 ticks from my target and then, pull back. And it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, the they are very frustrating for sure.
The they are watching the stream.
The
Like
cabal is in here in the stream
how
for
can we
sure.
mess with this guy? So now, my average is moved up. So I'm gonna move this up just below this swing low, that little pocket of delta there. But I really
Nice.
don't want to see this go below 840.
Um, if I was to add a lot higher, say price moved all the way up to 920, and then I was looking for another pullback to get on, I kind of treat that like that's its own second trade. And so I'll be in there with a 15-point stop loss and similar take profit targets. And I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what my average is from that low runner. I just let the math itself out. Easier for me
I'm
that way.
I'm gonna have to add another Zin for this trade.
Can you get us in? Maybe you can write Zin. Maybe you can get special Elias only Zins.
Maybe with the NT logo on them.
Mm.
Yeah, now we're coming up against that week open, which, we were rotating around there when we just prior to getting on stream, and it was, it's a little frustrating. It's a big spot. The week open retest is one of my favorite trades, but I like
Yep.
taking it from the long side. I like when we come down into it from above and take the retest long. Now we're coming back into it from below, and we got those 740, that 740 area that sellers want to break through below it. So
Right.
I don't know, just watching what happens here. I may cut, I hold. I don't know.
Is Zin publicly traded? Yeah, I think it's Philip Morris or whatever, right?
I don't know. I actually, I'm partial to generic. I don't use the actual brand, but people recognize the name, so I'll just say Zen. I'm a cheapskate.
Does it have a funny name? Like, is it called like Win with a Y or with WYN or
No,
something like that?
it's called on ON,
All right, all right.
because I need to be on when I'm trading.
You got.
uh. So what's going on in the chat? Anybody else in any trade? Anybody fading me?
Yeah, yeah.
Fading me in
Several
style?
people are short against us. Norseman's short 880.
Nice. That's a good entry.
Who else got in short?
Look at this little pocket. This is why I love Delta profiles so much, especially the leg to leg,
Yep.
because we have this little pocket here, and we know. I mean, I know. I assume that, like, if these guys want to get out. We're going to go back up. If we get below those guys, they're probably going to press. So it's a good spot to know, like, all right, I need to pay attention here. I could be about to get run over, or I could be in a position where I might want to add.
Yep. What kind of leg to leg settings are you rocking right now?
I believe this is a 60-point rotation.
Cool. My anchored VWAP from the low is holding on that, from that third low is holding still. And it's right at that 845, right where all that that bid delta was piling in.
One thing I didn't mention from before that I was thinking about earlier is I really don't like this morning's low.
Okay.
I don't like the structure of it on the low time frame chart. It looks to me like it's like a poor low, if I can say that. It looks like a poor low.
But poor lows are the new good low.
Let me see if I
If
can
anything, that's the reason why it's going to hold.
scroll back there and show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
See, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
not retested, not swept, not, nothing. It's just there. It's
Yep.
a little chunk. So
No, it was like market tried opening drive down and was not rewarded for that in any way.
right.
And then it got shot out of a cannon.
But when I see lows like that, typically, like I don't look at stuff like that as much on a higher time frame, but on a low time frame, it's like that wants to get swept at some point.
It must be cleaned. Must be cleaned up.
Yeah. But I'm not short. I'm long.
Yep, for sure.
I always just take what's in front of me and kind of try to keep in the back of my mind those earlier little clues that I have in my pocket.
Yeah, it's a fine balance, right? Between, we're trading for 40 points, 20 points sometimes. But as you watch the day, you gather and, hold a lot of MGI and pattern recognition stuff just in your mind while you're trading. So
Yeah.
it's a balance between like not letting that mess with your process, but also those are patterns that you recognize. So they're useful, and not letting those get in the way of what you need to be up to.
Yeah, and it's also a balance of, being aware of context is pretty critical to me, but it's also important for me not to overload myself with all kinds of conflicting information because the market is constantly putting out information and favoring both directions, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like you can always see a reason to get long and a reason to get short, or some structure that, some target on the upside and some target on the downside. I can't be cluttered with all that. And it's taken some time to kind of whittle down to what is important for me on the higher, like kind of higher time frame, full day context and beyond. Just like everything else with trading, it kind of takes time.
You gonna get through this 860 guy?
I hope so.
He's piling in up there.
The more time we spend above.
This is a good example too of like, I don't know. We're in. I like your leg to leg volume profile too, to go along with the leg to leg delta, is telling a really good story. Like that bid delta at the low, and then right now we're running into offer delta. So this is just a little mini auction, an auction within an auction within an auction.
Yeah.
And well, nobody knows which way it's going to break, but
at this point, I don't really want to see this little spot get breached at all. But I don't want to move my stop to break even because of these little equal lows.
right.
NQ likes to sweep those. So I'm just gonna chill, you know, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Maybe if we pop above POC with a little bit of momentum, I'll trail up some.
Yeah, we need somebody to hit the tape for sure. What time we got? 3:15. Okay.
Where's our OFL gang at? Start hitting the bid, hitting the offer. Lift.
Yeah, can we move this market, please?
Help us out.
What else is in this chat? When does it start? Oh, nice, Joe. Thanks for handling that question. Yeah, it's all the redrawing is all based on your own settings. And I know Leo was talking about that yesterday. The cool thing about the OFL tools, and like they do look very fancy and nice, but they are extremely customizable, and you can really dig into, you know, what rotation size do you like? What rotation size do you like to see? You know, how much delta do you want to see? Do you want to compress that? Do you want to see every tick? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great thing about the tools, because, you know, OFL has recommended settings for everything, which are great and work for most people, but everybody trades, you know, everybody has different style, everybody has different personality. Some people want faster settings, some people want slower settings. People trade on different time frames, etc. So that customizability is clutch. Trading is not a one size fits all endeavor.
No, it certainly is not. And every time you try to put it in a box, that's when I typically get wrecked. Anytime I've tried to do that.
Do we have this big offer guy stepping in again? I see 500 lots on
Yeah, there he is,
879.
879. Yep. This is just some
Oh,
roll
Lord.
week fun.
Another reason why I like to be in and out quick is I don't you know, sometimes I can get caught up in micromanaging my position.
Yeah, same, man. Same.
I think my average trade time over the last 6 months or so is around 4 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm already like, this is like, what, 30 average trades already. I've been sitting in this. But it's good because it's all, you know, it's good to develop that. I think Leo was talking about that the other day about, you know, sitting in the uncomfortability.
Oh, yeah. That's a big part of it. If you do it long enough, you start to really enjoy it, which is tricky. But yeah, you're just like, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Maybe that's a me thing. That might be a Stowe thing.
Might be.
Hey, they got him.
Yeah, we took them. Let's see. Let's see if we
Let's
can
go,
keep
baby.
pushing.
Hit the tape.
I want to say thank you to the chat for lifting the offer, helping us out.
Thank you, chat. Oh, look at that. Look at that guy piling in. That's wild. Elias, do you have MNQ charted, or are you on NQ?
I am currently charting MNQ, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you can't if you want to switch back to my screen just for a second,
Sure.
so I can show that delta profile. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That's how you can see that big guy stepping in. What does it mean? Nothing. No idea. Probably just somebody doing roll stuff. That's a gajillion dollars. So that's a little above any of our pay grades to know. But
now he's in there with 1,000. Sorry.
See? Yep. See, now he's partying. Reloaded at yeah, so now he's sitting at 890.
Job, please stop shorting, Job.
How's the how are the charts today, chat? Is this better? Is this an improvement? Easier to see?
I think if we can get above the week open, I will trail my stop up to about 840 and hopefully just hold this into the close.
Yeah, they did a lot of work down there.
I don't like this big offer sitting there. You know, Nick and Leo were talking about it, I think on Monday, how when that guy started first showing up a few weeks ago, that was
Yeah.
like the beginning of this whole downtrend.
It's true.
Like we don't see these size offers in NQ.
No, it's extremely strange.
So to me, it's something to note and pay attention to. Now, if we blow through them and get above them, it's one thing, but I'm a little wary of that guy. This isn't ES where it's
Yeah.
more common to see those big resting orders.
I mean, a couple months ago, 100 lot on the just sitting on the bid or the offer was a lot, and you're like, oh, look at you, bud.
Yeah. You see 200. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking Joe B. Elias, what's your upper target for NQ? Let's see. Realistically,
I mean, if we scrunch this
I
down,
mean 920. I like the IB mid. Scrunch it down too much and move it. You know, ideally, I would like to see us trade and close the day above prior day close.
ooh, let's get
But
this turkey. Come on.
that may be ambitious.
He pulled. He pulled.
I think like IB mid is a good target for me.
I can't believe that guy was lying about those 1,000 lots. Criminal.
Well, he's back.
Where did
Guess
he move
who's
up?
back? Guess who's back? Yeah,
Whoa, he
he's
moved. Oh, he
at
moved up to 910.
910. Yeah,
That's
he's sitting
wild.
there.
Yeah, so he's just dragging price up.
You know, and you never know. Or is this just games? Is this a role thing? Is it, you know, you don't know. So since I don't know, this position's been pretty good for me. I'm gonna trail my stop up now. Up to about just a hair below 860.
That's cool.
All this bid was.
I still need a higher high. I still need to beat 900 and 903. Like,
Well, we have an interim higher high.
yeah, that's true. I feel like this has started a new rotation. I still want to take out those spots.
I hear you, man. I'm with you. We're in it together.
Yeah, hell yeah. But the for me, this is a double distribution, and I'm trading, you know, low to high of the distribution that we're in. So I'm happy to get out at, you know, the RTHB WAP, which is 940. That's fine. I mean, that's a billion points.
900, the you know, big round number 900 has been a point of contention earlier today.
Yeah, you can see
Kind of a
that
low
little
volume blip there.
Yeah, that tiny LVN.
Got that guy sitting up just above with the big offer. So
do I have a number of points I'm trying to make in a day? I do have a profit target where I stop. But I don't have a goal. If I have a goal, that messes with me. So I don't sit down and I say I need to make this money today, because those are the days that I certainly don't make that money. So the less in my head about that I can be, the better. How about you, Elias? Do you have a profit target or a daily goal?
yeah, it kind of varies depending on the market environment that we're in. But typically, like if we're in a low volatility, kind of lower range, lower rotation environment, then I'll typically trade bigger size and somewhat smaller targets. so that I can kind of meet a rough, I guess in MNQ, like I'm happy with anywhere from 250 to like 350 points total a day. That's not per contract, but total. Like
Yeah,
that's a good day for
it's a
me,
great day.
but some days can be, significantly more than that. So I play it by ear. I don't necessarily stop at any number unless it's just not my kind of day.
Right. Could be lots of other factors too. Sometimes you're just, sometimes you're feeling it. Sometimes you're in a good vibe and it feels good to ride it. And sometimes you're not. Sometimes, you're tired, you're not focused. Could be anything.
Well, and that goes back to, part of what I was talking about earlier with the, not trading in the afternoons and stuff. They're going to take out my trail.
I'm going to watch this 860, I might add. If we again jump in here and then jump back out again. Just going to hit one.
Should have taken that 1,000 lot guy's threat seriously.
I would have if he, didn't pull his orders.
On this.
All right, now I need buyers to come in. Push us back out of this. Let's see.
Fire it off again.
Some absorption here at this 850.
They take me out of here, I'm done.
And they're pushing.
Yeah. That was a bit
I'm going to
impulsive.
add, so I added one there. 849. So I'm going to bring my stop to 25 on those.
I am cooked, aren't I?
I don't know. We got 2 minutes to the turn.
Go to the 8-4.
I mean, we get back above this. 843. He just hit a
Yeah,
lot. Hit a
they're
lot of
really
lots.
selling it. I mean, they swept the lows there, the interim lows, but not the 302 lows at 34, 33.
Yeah.
Sellers are really trying to push.
One minute to the turn. Yep, there's that 302 low. I assume this is going to get stopped. I'm still down to take a look at, 800. We get back to the pivot and see more stuff. I'll get back in that trade again. There's 330.
I took another stab at 33 and took one off at 48. Can I share my screen again?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Switch over.
Don't mind. Still getting used to this. So we had a couple of prints. We had this negative delta coming in. I was looking at 40 as the area, and these lows over here got swept. And then
I'm going to trim my
Had,
ad there.
we had a dominator and a delta flip fire, liquidity zone printed. It's like, let me just give it another shot here. It was worth a shot. And turned out.
Bid. Let's party.
So now I'm going to move this to my original 920 target. Stop up. It's below that low. And if we can break above the 5-minute opening range high again and kind of hold that, I'll move my stop up to about 840.
Yeah. I was happy to get another 10 points out of that. Maybe 15 points on that trim. So that's good.
It's kind of one of those, works until it doesn't scenarios. This whole area seems to be bid, so good, worth the risk to take another shot at it.
Absolutely.
Switch back to yours.
Sure.
Whoa. Soon the roll will be behind us.
Last 30 minutes is partying for sure.
I really want us to close above the week open.
Yeah, I might just be balancing down here. I'm starting to give up my hopes and dreams of VWAP. They've been smashed to bits.
Never give up, Stowe.
It's a negative uptrend. I don't quite know what that means.
A negative uptrend.
Yeah.
Interesting concept. Let's look at the chat. What's going on here? Bull trap. Maybe. I just look at the lines, man. Doesn't matter. Do I have a VWAP on my chart?
I don't know if Apteros is talking about me, but it's anchored to the beginning of the RTH session if you're talking about the bands.
I use a 24. I've always used a 24-hour VWAP for NQ. I don't use the bands.
It's just good context for me. I need to make rules about, you know, when I'm not allowed to do something in order to keep in order to keep
Dude,
myself safe as
that's
possible.
smart, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's smart, man. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out stuff like that for myself to kind of protect me, rules to protect me. It's worth it, you know. It's trading is, we can get caught up. I mean, I think Jim, when we were talking before the stream, he was talking about, or when we started the stream, he was talking about the dopamine up and down and stuff. Like sometimes we can all get carried away. The market is
Yes.
kind of endless opportunity, and if we don't have some kind of structure around how we or when we can enter and exit in certain directions, we can get ourselves into trouble. I know firsthand very
Yep.
well how much trouble I can get into. A wrong, man. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't particularly come on someone else's stream and criticize what they're doing, but that's just me.
Is that dude still sitting up there?
I don't know.
Nah, I can't see that far.
Thing is, like, we're talking, we're kind of, having fun, vibing here, and it's hard for me to like kind of pay attention to my trade. I want to just kind of let it run.
Yeah. I think you had a great trade. A couple good ads. I'm happy that we were able to show some ads, show some reentries. I think that's important for people to see that you're not always looking for one trade that's one and done, going to work, not work. I never move my stop because NQ knows when I do that intuitively. So that's why I've been. And I got back in it. I added at 850 and then scaled out at 865, and now I've got another 15-point stop loss trade, and we're just gonna let it chill.
Yeah, we're chilling. I got my exit set for my take profit set for 919.75. And my stop, well, now we built some, we have some liquidity zones down at 836 and also 851. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my stop up to 840. Man, they really don't want to get over that 880.
Yeah.
Week
Sometimes
open
price
is
is just
what,
happy.
885, 888.
Sometimes
Yeah,
the auction is just like, this is where it wants to be. This is
yeah.
where we'd like to close it. Unfortunately, Nick's not in the chat. Otherwise, I would maybe ask him if there's a call wall up here at 880. But
Yeah. Is there someone we can call? Can we phone a friend for
that would be
Gamma?
cool.
This could just be classic manipulation. I don't know. I'm just gonna let it ride.
Anthony, Jim told me that he's the real boomer, by the way. He's the only one allowed to say boomer. You guys are Gen X, so you can't be using that terminology. We can take that up with Jim in 45 and 15 minutes whenever he hops back in.
Gen X in the house.
Gen X in the house.
I feel like an old man watching all these like different streamers, and a lot of YouTube is trading, a lot of trading is it's young, like young faces, which is cool, but it makes me
Can
feel
you
old,
imagine
man.
getting into this when you were young?
Oh my God.
How sick would that have been?
I'd either be dead or a millionaire.
Well said. Well said.
Boomer alert. Well, maybe Jim can tell us where the call wall is.
No, I'm sure he will.
Are NQ NDX call walls a thing, or is it just like SPX ES?
I think it's primarily, I think most people look at SPX. I'm sure NDX has some though, right?
Oh yeah.
There you are.
Hey,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anthony's in here saying boomer again, Jim, so I had to
Well,
get you back on.
and that's what woke me up. I was like leaning back in my chair. And I heard the word boomer again. Them are fighting words. So there are some what I'm going to call high gamma levels.
Okay.
And right now in the NQ, there's a high vol level actually, right where we're trading at right now. It's
figures.
670.
Yeah. So it's just magnet time.
Yeah. I mean, like the second biggest gamma level, Jax 2 is all the way up at 820. So we're
Is that
pretty
on
far from that.
the H contract or M, Jim?
Oh, good question. Holy cats. See, now you can make fun of the boomer because I was on the wrong one.
But that's
Uh,
another wrench in the game with roll week is,
Yep.
where are your levels? Are you looking at the right contract? It
Yep.
gets very
so,
confusing.
yeah. Yeah, don't give Anthony any more ammo. Um, so it's 890. The high vol level is 890 in the June.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then the call wall, as you would call it, the resistance is all the way up at 20,000.
Okay.
So I don't know if we're probably not going to get there, but
20 minutes left in the session. 120 points ish. It can happen.
It could
why
definitely
does your
happen.
why does your volume profile look different than mine?
Which on mine?
Whose screen am I looking at?
Yep, that's me.
Yours
24
looks
hour.
nice. Yours looks nicer than mine. So, all right. So when you say 24-hour, do you mean you
Or no,
anchored
I'm
to the
sorry. This
open?
is RTH. So this is
Okay,
RTH volume profile. Yep.
I gotcha. Okay. All right, I could add that. I'll do that. I'm gonna catch up.
Yeah, no, the OrderFlow Labs folks made this volume profile.
Yeah.
It's part of the OFL suite, and they do great work. I can't ever recreate any chart that looks this good by myself. It's a common inside joke about my charts that I use the most disgusting colors for everything. And yeah, I get a lot of flack for that.
No, it
Isn't
looks
your
good.
color palette titled what's old in the fridge stuff?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. All right, I caught up with you guys. Now I'm seeing the same thing.
All right, cool.
So you guys, I mean, you focus on MNQ all the time, right?
Yep.
100%
I
for
chart
me.
NQ and then cross trade MNQ. Elias is actually charting MNQ right now at the moment. So he's looking at MNQ delta and trading off of that actual delta. I'm looking at NQ delta and then just trading MNQ lots off of it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. So yeah, we didn't have an initial balance breakout high or low in this market either today.
We had a high breakout, IB high breakout.
Yeah, but it was just a wick.
Mm.
Does that not fulfill the stat? What's that
I'm
stat?
sorry. I'm looking at. I use a 30-minute candle, and
Okay.
so for my stat, it's like, all right, I want to see a 30-minute candle close above the initial
Ah,
balance high or a close below, especially in the micro Nasdaq for it to count because this thing is so wild on a wick by wick basis.
Yes, that's
just
true.
me.
That's why we love it.
Oh, I know. I know. What time frame are you looking at right now? I got my glasses are fogged up.
So this is a 750 volume candle chart.
750 val. Got it.
Yep. I do. The only time I use time candle anything is just for planning. I'll do it hourly. hourly candle just to see the big picture, but
Got it.
Scott in the chat is charting NQ and trading milk futures.
that's nice. Milk
That's
futures
interesting.
often overlooked commodity.
Is there correlation between NQ and milk?
Oh man,
Milk,
that's so funny.
open interest is like 3.
So,
Here we
for
go
some
up to the 900 spot.
Yep.
Swept this little high. Let's see if we can get 20 more points out of this. Buyers have it in them.
For some reason, I don't know why I was looking at it. It just showed up on my news feed one day, like milk futures at 11, and I was like, milk futures? Why'd they put this on the? Why'd they put this on the news thing? Milk auction at 11, and I learned that they have several different kinds of milk. There's different grades of milk, so there's 3 different milk products you can trade if you really wanted to.
I'm going with the skim milk. I know
All
that's
right.
not one, but I'll do the skim milk. Little skim milk on the oatmeal in the morning. Perfect.
I would think that NQ would correlate better with something else besides milk, some other commodity.
Scott's
jet
kidding. He
jet
trades.
fuel.
He trades.
Is there jet fuel futures?
There's well, you know what? That's funny you should say that because we're used to the major. I don't know if I'm going to call them retail markets, but ultra low sulfur diesel, which used to be called heating oil.
Oh, okay.
There's RBOB is another one that we like to look at. That's gasoline. The regular crude oil. But when you dig into the CME, there are some commercial products that are.
Exotics.
I don't even know what they are. They're bizarre. Yeah.
Specialized for industry.
Yeah. Yeah. We wouldn't trade them as retail guys.
Yeah. I may let's see. Oh, now we're popping. Okay.
Oh, here we
This
go.
900
We got
spot
golf.
has been
baby.
a sticking point.
Can we get the push? Yeah, Leo's bringing up the anchor VWAP from the high. It's at 924. That is
And
often.
he anchors from the opening bell.
We'll put anchor VWAPs on anywhere, high, low, but just like especially if the day trend has reversed, like today happened for sure. Big trend up into consolidation, then big trend down. Sometimes just putting an anchored VWAP at that high just gives you that extra context, and then it also is annoyingly painful if you're trying to get back up through it.
Yeah, no, I got it. You guys, have you met Brian Shannon yet?
All right, there we go. I'm flat, guys. Hit my
Good job.
target.
That's
Sorry.
great. Nice trade, homie. No, Brian. No.
Yeah, the anchored V. He wrote a book.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, I've never met him.
Yeah.
Do you know,
He's
do you know Brian?
Yeah, we do. We do. He's been on the show a couple times in NinjaTrader Live version 1.0.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get him on though. I'll introduce him to you. He's a cool cat.
That's amazing. I would love to meet that guy.
Yeah.
I have read that book, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I got the hard copy here. He sent me one. I was like, dude, I'll pay for this. He said, no, you're good, Jim.
One day I got to get on my chart the anchored VWAP for the leg to leg profile. Some really interesting stuff with that. When we print a new leg and we anchor a VWAP off of that swing,
349. I gotta close this.
very responsive for NQ typically.
Not rolling the
So are you-
dice on the 50 algo today.
Are you still on a trade still?
Nope, just shut her down. I always close at
Nice trade, man.
a minute before the 50 algo comes in and starts cracking skulls.
I can't believe you just said that. I've been talking about this last 10-minute candle forever, and no one listens to me. It's something, right?
Yeah, it's a mess, especially on NQ.
Yeah, you got the 50 and the 55.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always it's good. It's good practice to get out a little bit before that.
Well, Elias, thanks for the good luck today. I'm never going to trade with XY again because all he did was jinx me, and Elias was the good luck that I needed to get a win
No,
in
me
today.
and you after today, me and you have to trade together, period. We both won, we both had winning trades. It's just good stuff, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
Each
what
other's good
happened?
luck charm. Whoa,
Yeah,
see that?
here's our guy.
So where is he? I mean, do you have him duct taped in the closet or something? Where's XYZ? I mean,
He's at the Versace store.
I was just yeah, he's at the robe store. He had a fitting today.
uh, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Joking aside, he was a cool guy.
Oh yeah, he's the
XY is
best.
super cool.
All these dudes are
Great dude.
great
Great
traders
dude.
too.
But that's like an LA thing, right?
Being cool,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Must
I mean,
must be.
our executive producer, I don't know what her title is, but running this place, she's Shab. You guys met Shab?
No,
I have
All
not.
right. You'll meet her. She's an LA person. She's super cool. Like LA people, they have this vibe to them, they're just kind of like, we live in LA, we're cool. I'm not saying
I
that.
wonder if
That's a
it's
good
like
thing.
similar to the Miami vibe. Because Miami's got some of that.
that might be. Yeah.
You came from Miami, didn't you,
That's
Elias?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Lived there for many years.
I love South Beach.
South Beach, Coconut Grove. I lived in Coral Gables, Miracle Mile.
Coral
Grew up
Gables,
there.
high rent district, man.
Yes. But very, very nice. Very nice area.
Well, that's
It's where
kind
the
of the
Versace
definition of high
store
rent
is.
district. That's that's where XYZ is right now. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I love Prime 112, South
Yeah.
Beach. But even better, across the street is Prime Italia. I don't know if it's even still there, but Prime Italia was in the heyday. Awesome.
I never tried Prime Italia. I like Smith and Walensky personally. Joe's Stone Crab. It's a great spot. It's hard to get into, but
Yeah, Smith and Wollesky's been around a while.
yes, long time.
I think that's the first place I met the Las Vegas Smith and Wollensky. I think this is. I might not be. I think this is it. The first Smith and Wollensky not the first one, but there was one in Las Vegas, and I met uh, Ray Day, who created the software and founded NinjaTrader. And this was like
Oh,
I'm talking
wow.
like 2004 or maybe
Oh,
even
cool.
before that.
Nice.
NinjaTrader started in '03, right? I think. I think I just read that today.
Yeah, something like that. I know. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Cool.
You think I would know stuff like that because I work here?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's some deep trivia, Jim. You don't have to know that. You got a lot of other stuff to
It's a
know.
long time. It's a long way away. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, awesome job. So tomorrow you guys are off, right? Tomorrow's Friday. I think we're just doing a morning stream tomorrow. We're not doing an afternoon stream Friday afternoon.
Yep.
Um, and I think which is great. I think we had a pretty great first week, and a lot of it is because of you guys. This
Oh,
whole
thanks so much,
afternoon
man.
episode. And NinjaTrader 1.0, we did it, and it was okay, but we didn't get the talent that you guys bring to the
Thanks, man.
table.
I don't know.
I know. I know.
That's
Elijah
funny.
just left. Elijah just walked away from the screen. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, he might have. He occasionally gets a work call. He's got to jump and grab. So
Yeah.
that might be it.
Gotcha. Yeah. No worries at all. So
Well,
I think
thank you
it
so
doesn't.
much, Jim.
Yeah. No. So it does. Yeah. I think we're good. I appreciate you guys. You got big plans this weekend or no?
I'm hoping to do some yard work. Actually, that would be sick. Spring actually shows up in Pittsburgh. I
Uh,
can get out there and start digging in, plant some vegetables. That's the
yeah.
plan. Yeah, we
Nice.
got a new house this year, so tons of room out there for a garden, and kiddo loves the garden, so it'd be a nice time. We
Awesome.
also have
All
to
right.
practice for softball too, so
Enjoy it, man. These years fly by.
thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah. You too. All right, man. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, be have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to stick around. We're going to do a little bit of a wrap up. I'm going to share some screens here, and then we're going to call it a day at NinjaTrader Live. Appreciate everybody being here. Great community. It's getting better and better every second. Appreciate everybody in the chat helping each other out. Remember, high tides lift all boats. So everybody has been so cool so far. We appreciate that as we go forward here. So just kind of we'll take a look at a couple of daily charts really quickly here, and then wrap it up. And the June E-mini S&P right here. Now this is wild. The statistic is only a 6.67% chance that we're going to have a body of a candle close either above the initial balance, which is that white line up here, or below the initial balance low, which is down here. We wicked above it a little bit, but we didn't have that candle close. And the stats are saying, hey, we should have done it. We should have had that candle close. We didn't. So this was an outlier day. This was an outlier day. The other thing that was interesting was the range today was only 83 handles, high to low, and the ATR is usually 106. So a little bit of a subdued day. If you look at a daily candle here, I'm thinking daily candle. We're seeing some consolidation, and I just wanted to compare this option's expiration. There we go. This is the last options expiration, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last month, and a little tiny hamburger bun, little tiny baby candles, and we've seen the same pattern kind of this week. Although the candles are a lot bigger, but they're still range bound. We're still tight. So what does that mean? Well, here's the Friday candle from the last options expiration. So stuff could happen tomorrow. So be on your toes for sure. The 8 EMA also, this is the first time that a body of a candle has not, it's not in the middle of a body of a candle after the last 3 days. So it does look like the bias is a little bit on the upside, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow. There's no real news tomorrow. Vice Chair of the FOMC, John Williams, is doing a speech. He's probably, arguably he's the first or second most important guy at the FOMC since he runs the New York Fed, right? He's the president of the New York Fed also, so he's pretty important fella. So we'll listen to him tomorrow. But other than that, that's about it. Baker Hughes rig count, but I'll rely on Shai tomorrow to tell us if that's important or not. Probably not, but she'll know better than I. So we'll be back early tomorrow at NinjaTrader Live. Again, 8 a.m. East Coast start. So hopefully we'll see everybody there with us. So in closing, let me remind everybody the most important message of the day. Please be safe out there and be good to each other. Thanks for coming.